What's up, everyone? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and here's a bit of a PC topic. Something I don't really do too much as far as the nostalgia side of it goes, but you get the idea anyway. So I'll give you a little bit of backstory first. First off, we're going to look at, say, genres that have kind of fell by the wayside, or genres that have been a bit neglected to the vast majority. So the one I want to talk about specifically in this case is arena-based shooters. Now, there could be the potential for arena-based shooters to come back, or at least there was the potential for it to come back in 2016 when Doom released, and it was everything we wanted in old style gameplay with a modern style twist, or modern style gameplay with an old style twist, whatever way you want to look at it. That's as far as the single player goes. The multiplayer wasn't the most perfectly received kind of thing. It was supposedly not old school enough to be old school and not new school enough to be new school. So it kind of fell somewhere in the middle from what I understand. I haven't played the multiplayer myself, but the general consensus out there seems to be that it's somewhere in the middle, and it's more of a does neither very well, and unfortunately doesn't kind of live up to the astounding single player. Now, having said all that, I'm going to throw out the other one here that's obvious. Overwatch does not really fit into this kind of thing. Overwatch, yes, sure, the levels are relatively small in comparison to some other ones, but I wouldn't call it an arena-based shooter simply because of the style of gameplay and the huge variance of the characters. Sure, I mean, every character is basically individual, and that can be done in arena-based shooters, but it just doesn't work overall as an arena-based shooter. Most people wouldn't even classify it as an arena-based shooter. Now, that's the main part of this. So we'll go back to the nostalgia trip side of it and the backstory part of it. So we all know arena-based shooters. They've mostly been just owned for years by one, we call them studio, or one publisher, or whatever you want to call it. And that is the one that most people started with. And that will be something from the Unreal family, possibly even the Quake family, but it's basically the same thing. Well, to an extent. But when you look at it, most people will start with, as I started with, Unreal Tournament. Now, yes, there was a previous game before it, Unreal, which I've personally not played before Unreal Tournament. I did get to play it like a year or two after, if not whenever it was, but you get the idea. So most people, as like myself, would start with Unreal Tournament or one of the Quake games. Now, Quake has kind of lost its roots over the last while. Quake 1, great game, amazing, absolutely, groundbreaking game. Quake 2, same deal. Quake 3 really kind of blew up the arena-based shooter scene, if you ask me, both on console and PC. But that's kind of where it stopped for a while. Quake 4 was very different. It wasn't, from what I remember, a terrible single-player game. It felt very average. Felt like an average game with a bit of a Quake twist on a Quake skin, maybe you could call it. But the multiplayer was not anything fantastic. Now, you can look at other games as well in the style of series. You go to the Unreal games. You've got, obviously, Unreal. You've got Unreal 2, Unreal 3, like you're seeing, or Unreal Tournament 3, like you're seeing right here now. And then you've got the Unreal Tournament style games as well. You've got Unreal Tournament, and really all that matters is Unreal Tournament 2K4, because that's easily the best Unreal Tournament game there is. So, a couple of weeks ago, I'd been getting a hankering to play Unreal Tournament 2K4. And I looked at it on Steam, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to put on my wish list, and I'll wait. I'll wait till it goes on sale, because it'll be on sale for like €3. And I think it was maybe the day later, I just remembered, I was like, oh yeah, there's another one, there's a slightly newer one, bit of a different one, Unreal Tournament 3. I was like, okay, I'll see how much that is. Looked at the price of it on Steam. I was like, okay, I'll put that on the list as well, the wish list. And when it goes on sale, I'll just buy both of them because they'll be €2 or €3 each. Fast forward a couple of weeks or whatever it was to, well, it's just after midnight here. So let's fast forward to yesterday morning. And I was looking through my wish list again, and I remembered that I actually had an old physical copy, Games for Windows Live Edition, of Unreal Tournament 3 on the PC. So just for shits and giggles, because I know my Games for Windows Live Fallout New Vegas worked on Steam, and one of my friend's copies of Resident Evil 5 Games for Windows Live version also worked on Steam, I decided for the laugh, I'd put the code into Steam, see what happens. Lo and behold, it gave me a full copy of Unreal Tournament 3. I was like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. I booted this game, I installed it, I booted this up, I started playing. Straight away, I was in heaven. I haven't played Unreal Tournament 3, which is the most recent Unreal Tournament that I've played, mind you. I probably haven't played this game in about 7 years. The last time I remember playing this would have been, let me see. I remember playing on console at the end of 2008. I remember playing it on PC maybe a year or two after. That's what I want to say about 2010. And wow, I mean, even to this day, a game this old, it still keeps the crown of top quality Unreal, not Unreal, that was no pun intended, top quality, Unreal quality, Epic Games quality, just tournament shooters. It really is. And it got me thinking, once I started playing this and instantly started loving it, it just reminded me that there's so few arena-based shooters out there now. It's a genre that kind of, it's like some companies and some games and developers, they want to claim arena-based shooter, but they fail to pull it off. Some of them go ham on it, but it just doesn't. It's not done correctly. Perfect example is Halo 5. You look at arena mode in Halo 5, it's terrible. So that's a perfect example. That's designed to be complete arena style gameplay and arena style combat, and it's just terrible if you ask me. And then, I mean, you've got other games as well, like Doom. We brought up Doom already. It tried to mix new school and old school in the multiplayer aspect, and unfortunately, apparently, it doesn't work for either. So it doesn't really live up to. I mean, you see all the videos. It's fast paced, sure. It's got arena style, but there's all these little things, from what I understand, that are too new or too old, and just meet somewhere in the middle and don't work. I mean, you look at games like that. Sure, I know what's his name. Cliffy B has a new arena-based shooter, Lawbreakers, coming out. Unfortunately, whatever. We'll see how it goes. Who knows how that's going to work, because it's not too promising. It looked okay when it was Project Blue Streak and they didn't show off too much, but the more and more, unfortunately, that comes out, it kind of goes down and down, in my opinion. There's also a new Quake game coming out. I think it's Quake Champions. It's an online-only, multiplayer-only version of Quake. A lot of people are a bit worried about that, and a bit kind of skeptic of it, especially with new Doom being absolutely so amazing and so well received. It would be a perfect time to bring Quake back in the same way. So that's something that should happen. Get a badass Quake single-player campaign with the old Quake style, with the new graphics and the ID Tech 6 engine. Get that going. Get a good solid arena-based multiplayer. Not Doom style, because that's apparently a failure. Do it correctly with Quake, and we have a winner. I mean, I know, as soon as I heard the announcement and read up some of the details shortly after of the Quake Champions announcement, I pretty much wrote it off. But if it was held back and done correctly, that's a whole other story. That could be another 60, 70 euro purchase, all well done and hours well spent. And if they brought back successfully arena-based gameplay, goddamn, that would be dozens, if not hundreds of hours well spent, gladly, when it comes to all that. So, I mean, it's a genre that's, like I said earlier, unfortunately, it's fallen by the wayside and got little to no love over the years. You have all these other ones, all these other games. I mean, what was it? Brink and Inversion or Inverse or some shit like that. that all tried arena-based style stuff, and they failed. And sure, Cliffy B has Lawbreakers. There's Unreal, no, not Unreal. What's it called? Oh, there is a new Unreal tournament as well, actually coming out. That's one I almost completely forgot to mention. But we'll see how that goes. I mean, I've seen some decent stuff about that. They showed off some very early gameplay footage and early tester stuff and all, and it looked promising. Hopefully, after especially Unreal Tournament 3 just reinvigorating my love for the genre of game that's gone so unappreciated over the last few years in gaming, it really makes me hope that the new Unreal can actually bring it back to life. I mean, if Doom can be reinvigorated in the way it was, why can't Unreal? They were both masters of their field in some ways. Obviously, the arena-based shooter, you can't mention without saying either Unreal or Quake. You've got Doom. Doom sure is known for the single player, and especially the new single player and the quality of the gameplay, which was always a Doom staple, just sheer quality of gameplay. That's another thing that it's just synonymous with the series, and they brought it back after the, what would I call this? The over-exaggerated disaster of Doom 3. Personally, right? Doom 3 gets a lot of hate. Doom 3 is not a terrible game. It's not a great Doom game, but it's not a terrible game. So I mean, if you go and play Doom 3 or Doom 3 BFG Edition or whatever the fuck version you play, I believe Doom 3 BFG Edition runs better but looks worse than the original one. I hear some of the options and all were turned out. But listen here, let's be real with you, right? Here's how this goes. When you're thinking of a game as old as Doom 3, it doesn't really matter. The graphics in that game do not really matter. The differences between BFG Edition and Standard Edition will not matter. You're going to be playing that game for like one specific reason. And because of that, I think Doom 3 gets a lot more hate than it deserves. Like I said, it's not the best game. It's not a great game. It's a good game. It's a good enough game. It's not a great Doom game, but it is what it is, Give it a try sometime. It's not terrible. It's nowhere near as bad as everyone makes out. Anyway, that's beside the point. So let's see, Quake could make a comeback after Quake 4. All they need to do is just go all Doom on it. Give us a fully fledged ID Tech 6 story campaign. I say story campaign. In Doom, 2016 Doom, there was a campaign there. No one paid attention to it. Not even the main character paid attention to it. It was just Doom true and true in the gameplay. With the graphics, with the gameplay, with the style. Hell, as I mentioned in a previous video as well, I spoke to John Romero personally, and he mentioned that they got him in and they were showing him how they transferred over the actual previous old Doom metrics, like HP, damage, spread, shit like that. And that's how it helped new Doom feel like Doom. It's something just as simple as that. It's so simple, but at the same time, it's so not. So they need to do that. They could do that with Doom, or they could do that Quake, I should say. Quake is arguably, I'm just going to repeat myself a million times in this video now. Quake and Unreal are the pinnacle of arena-based shooters. You keep that style of arena-based quality for the multiplayer of Quake. You go all Doom on the Quake campaign, you can bring it back. I think, maybe not 2017 because it's too early for it to happen, but I think if announcements were made and plans were drawn up and all that, I think 2018 could be the year we see the arena-based shooter come back, because it's long overdue. It's long unloved and underappreciated. Sure, I know when you go to places like, you can go to like Steam or some specific parts of forums or websites or whatever, and there's usually I'm sure Reddit has one too, but there's a pretty devout fan base of arena-based shooters. But it's a niche nowadays, and this genre never used to be niche. So let's get it back. That's all I say. I really hope it makes a comeback. I'm looking forward to almost anything that can come out that can pique my interest in the arena-based shooter. I haven't completely rolled off Lawbreakers, but it's literally at like it's tied for the bottom of my list with Quake Champions. We'll see how it goes. But the big one I have my eye on now, again, that kind of fell off my radar for a while, admittedly, but I'm looking for that new Unreal, and I think if anyone can do it, Unreal can do it. So we'll see how that goes. Let me know in the comment section below what your opinions with arena-based shooters are. Are you a fan? Have you been playing them for 20 years? What's the deal? Have you never stopped playing them? Let me know all that stuff. Are you one of those people like myself that stayed up late with your Dreamcast plugged into your phone line with a 33k modem just to play Quake 3 Arena online? I mean, if you have stories like that, throw them my way. I can't wait to hear them. And we'll talk about Unreal, and we'll talk about Quake, we'll talk about Doom, we'll talk about any of its arena-based shooters in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter, details in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the rest of the videos in my channel. While once I apologize for being ranty and rambly because it's very late and I'm very tired, and I'm running on what I can only call nostalgia-fueled adrenaline.